Drive like a Dakar driver. Enter the Toyota Dakar Toughness Challenge online, and you could win a brand new Toyota Hilux Dakar Edition.
Coming up on today's 26-minute Dakar, the celebrations kick off in Bolivia as race fever grips the fans and President Morales comes to the Dakar. Day 2 for the Bolivian bikes as the enormity of the Uyuni salt flats is matched by the speed of Dupre. Peaks, summits, call them what you will, the mountains of the Dakar bring their own very real dangers. In the car, Sainz pushes the limits as the race threads through the Andes into Chile. And our legends talk about their first Dakar moments in today's Dakar Passions. All that and more coming up in today's 26-minute Dakar, the race to Calamar. Bolivia. It's a place that calls for a boldness and braveness of spirit. The kind of drive that took early explorers to the next rise on the horizon and the next turn on the river. The cultural, historical and spiritual depths and richness of Latin America's most indigenous nation are astounding. And they embraced the arrival of the Dakar with an excitement and fervour that astounded the riders. "350,000 fans lined the route as the bikes forged new paths across the high plains, through the valleys, and across the peaks. Uyuni was a sea of people, a cacophonous crowd of colour and smiles that overwhelmed the riders of the Dakar. The President Bolivia, Evo Morales, followed the race from the moment it entered the country and was there at the finish to share in the joy of the fans. He was greeted by the Bolivian star of the rally, Juan Carlos Salvatierra.
There are so many people present here for a sporting event. I have to thank ASO, who have accepted our participation to the Dakar. I hope that this great event will serve to unite the people. Sport helps unite the people, and that's why I'm so happy.
The president then moved to the finish podium to greet the fans who were reveling in the atmosphere of the race and watch as Salvatierra took his turn on the stage finish. President Morales was joined by Etienne Levine, the Dakar director, to soak up the historic atmosphere in Uyuni, while the riders got changed into something more befitting the location. Traditional Bolivian ponchos provided for them at the bivouac that kept away the chill of high-altitude evening for the riders' briefing, and a historic photo to end the day with President Evo Morales. Previously in the bikes, Cyril Dupre is over 2 hours behind Coma, but he will never give up the chase. It's my nature to attack, and I'm going to. Struggling to keep up the pace in the mountains, Duclos is losing his way. I think I'm sick from the altitude. Minute by minute, Bereda is fighting back towards Valparaiso. We're going to fight to try to do it. It would be a great moment for Honda. The second half of the Bolivian Marathon is go, and the race is heating up. Today's stage takes the bikes all the way around the salt flats as they roar into Chile. Nothing so far seen on the Dakar could prepare the riders for the sheer magnificence of the Sala de Uyuni, the world's largest unbroken tract of salt flats. A spectacle that dazzled as the racers scorched their way through Bolivia. Bikes got underway, Rian van Niekerk was an early second at checkpoint 5. The South African is one who's suffering slightly from the effects of altitude. And with the terrain constantly changing, with the entire special running above 3,600 metres, it was a long day for the South African in his second Dakar. 7th would be his day's reward. Cyril Desprez took over the running at checkpoint 2 and stretched a lead on the flat course. He was dealing very well with the altitude on the 7th stage, and in just 70k he stretched his lead by a minute and a half to 2 minutes 30, whilst chasing Bereda and Coma. Despite being unable to speak at the end of stage 7, the KTM rider is riding as hard as ever. By waypoint 8, Coma had just managed to overhaul Bereda after trailing by 2 minutes early on. He overhauled the Honda rider on the timesheets and began to close on the leader. Every second counts for Bereda right now, and he fought tooth and nail with Coma to the end. By checkpoint 10, he was back to only 7 seconds down. At the line, the Honda rider did it, 6 seconds faster than Coma, who's suffering with no voice. I'm happy because I opened the road today and I arrived still first, and it was a good thing for me. I'm very happy. A very complicated marathon stage, tough because of altitude and the many kilometers, and I'm happy with the way it went. For Desprez, it was his first stage win of the year by 2 minutes and 10 seconds. It's a landmark moment for the Yamaha rider, though he was understated about the achievement come the finish. The idea is not to chase stage victories, but to come back to the front of the race. Today, whilst I was trying to reduce that gap between me and the leaders, I won the stage. It's good. I'm happy. Early technical problems dropped Duclos to 66th and half an hour back. The Sherco rider climbed back up the leaderboard in terms of places to 23rd at the line, but he couldn't make up the time on the leaders, and that has hurt his chances of the overall podium. Olivier Pain has not had the pure speed of last year when he led the rally in the first week, but he was closer to it today, racing tooth and nail in the times with Michael Metsch and Helder Rodriguez for 4th place on a strong day for the Yamaha team. Pain lost that particular battle with Helder Rodriguez on the CRF 450, who's really upping his game as the race hits its stride. If it wasn't for early problems, he could have been a real threat to the podium overall. For Jeremias Israel, the Chilean has shown real flashes of speed over the last few days, and he benefited from the problems of Duclos to gain serious time on 4th place in the standings. But on the day, he was not the fastest of the Chilean riders. That honour went to Daniel Guet. The Tamarugal XC Rally Honda team rider blitzed his best day of the rally with 8th. The 2013 Chilean national cross-country champion was just 13 minutes 23 off the lead on the day's fast tracks. Laia Sanz continues to hassle the top 20 overall. At the rest day, she's at 20th, and she's now in 17th position after finishing 15th today. So Cyril Desprez takes it. 5 hours, 23 minutes and 20 seconds of racing. Bereda just 2 minutes and 9 seconds. And look at that gap back to Coma, just 6 seconds ahead of Rodriguez and Olivier Pain. Mark Comer continues to lead the way. 38 minutes now the gap to Jerome Barreda-Bort. Villedoms loses time in third, as does Duclos, and Jeremiah Israel, the biggest gainer of the day, 152 back. Yesterday, Chilean rider Ignacio Casale took back the overall lead in the quads just before the Dakar enters his country. Today, Casale confirmed that he is the man to beat, leading the race at every waypoint and winning his fourth stage of the year. Casale increased his overall lead. He's been fourth overall since he lost more than 2 hours 3 days ago. Sebastian Husseini, the lead Honda, found some new energy to clock the second best time of the day, nearly 9 minutes from Casale's time. Unfortunately for him, it's almost 3 hours from third place. Former leader of the quad category, Sergio Lafuente, seems powerless against the flying Casale. For the third day in a row, the Uruguayan rider had to satisfy himself with the third best time. Lafuente stays second overall, 22 minutes behind Casale. Rafał Sonik was less than 30 minutes behind Casale overall this morning, but the Polish rider seemed unable to follow the rhythm of the Chilean. Sonik took the fourth best time of the day, 16 minutes from the winner. Coming next in the cars, Roma's luck might be on the turn as the Fesh grabs at the leader's Mini.
It's not a bad way to get the heart pumping.
If you like the Dakar, you will love us.